Hello everyone, Scott Farida here, and today we are delving into the question, is Karen McDonald lying about violent crime in Oakland County? So how did this come up? Well, I saw a campaign ad she put out saying violent crime is down, but what I didn't see was any source or any specific details that'd make you go, okay, so that's how she came to that conclusion. And it's something I've heard from her camp before. At one of the only candidate forums I saw she deigned to show up, I believe she had mentioned something about the FBI. And Dave Coulter, similarly in his claims on crime, I've heard him say that the FBI is saying X. So I figured, how about we actually pull out those records, go through the details, and see what the FBI shows. Let's talk about the inconsistent statements that Karen McDonald has made, and let's talk about what Michigan stats show as well. I want you to be able to draw your conclusions, to have a good foundation for your own research, so I'm going to be transparent and tell you how I came up with these numbers. So let's start with the FBI. FBI, you go online, breaks down by state, jurisdiction, and you can only query 10 at a time. Which basically comes down to, for Oakland County, you have to do clusters of 10 jurisdictions at a time, put those figures all together, and look at the totals, right? So if we are looking from 2020, the year before Karen McDonald took office, and 2023, obviously the last full year, violent crime went up. And if you're looking at the 53 jurisdictions that are definitely in Oakland County, that number is up 3.56%. If you're looking at the 56, which it seems like should be included in total, that number is still up 3.22%. So let me just explain before moving on where those figures come from. So there are 53 agencies that are definitely part of Oakland County. They correspond as well to agencies on Michigan's own listings for crime that breaks down those records too. There are 3 that are a little bit special. The first is Northville. That's put into its own category because obviously Northville straddles more than one county. And I included it for 2 reasons. First off, a substantial part of Northville is in Oakland County. People in Northville are part of our community. But second, those figures for that jurisdiction actually go down. Northville is a bit lucky there, so we're not inflating A figures. The others are a park authority as well as MSP. And I'm a bit wary of including agencies that look like it might encompass something else, but this is what the FBI is saying was reported by Michigan jurisdictions for Oakland County. So put those all together, and even using the lower figure again, violent crime is up 3.22%. And it's very interesting when you juxtapose that with what Karen has said behind closed doors. You see, she and I had a private sort of candidate forum, debate, whatever you want to call it. And I specifically went through, hey, these are the figures that Michigan says. This is the breakdown of crimes against persons, et cetera, et cetera. And she did not claim that those stats were inaccurate. She didn't call me a liar or anything like that. No, what she said was something to the effect of, well, those numbers that he's given there, those are consistent with other areas around us. What's very interesting there is that, as I'll talk about when I go through Michigan's records, it is not simply, hey, you click one thing. It takes a lot of time to actually compile these, to double check your work, make sure it's correct, and she just seemed to be pulling it out of thin air. Again, no details, no figures, just, it's like everyone else. So compare the two. Compare her campaign ad saying violent crime is going down, and compare that with behind closed doors, a seeming acknowledgement that no, crime is going up, particularly crimes against persons, but we're not that bad compared to other counties. So finally though, we get into the state of Michigan stats. Michigan breaks them down in an interesting way. You can look by county and the like, but you can actually get into categories if you go by agency. But you have to go through an Excel, pull every single agency, put them together. And for Michigan, if we're looking at 2020 to 2022, those figures are up too. Just to quickly hit that, as of the day of recording, October 16th of 2024, 2023 stats aren't available. So if we're looking again from the year before Karen started to her last full year available, the number for crimes against persons is up 8.03%. And crimes against persons is the category that is generally on the low end crimes such as stalking and the high end crimes such as first degree murder. So it's not necessarily every crime that could possibly be considered violent, of course, but it's a good categorization to sort of give us our framework. And if we're looking at the total crime in Oakland County, that's up 12.75%. And so I got these figures by going through records for agencies that I could find reported for our county. There were 55 agencies for Oakland County itself, and I didn't include things such as the DNR. They don't break down by county, at least for that listing, and then things like MSP. Obviously, MSP has some posts in Oakland County, but just looking at the raw numbers, it's hard to tell as to whether any stat that would be reported would be specific for us. So again, if you're looking through our records in Oakland County, that shows an increase. So this starts us back to how the video started us, and that is, look at these inconsistencies. Why is Karen McDonald doing paid advertising saying violent crime is going down when the FBI crime stats show that's going up, when the state of Michigan says that crimes against persons are going up, and when Karen, behind closed doors, seems to be acknowledging they're going up? Well, I leave that question to you. I leave it to you to contact Karen's campaign if you want more details. Reach out. Hopefully, they'll actually answer your questions. As you know, I'm always happy to answer yours. If you want to know something, put it in the comment section and I'll respond. And, at the end of the day, we have the obligation as the citizens to look at what's going on in our backyard. We have to make informed decisions to be able to solve the problems we have. So, until next time, I really appreciate you watching this video. And I'm Scott Farida, signing off.